What if I told you that osteoarthritis does have a real solution, but that they don't always tell you? I'm not talking about a new miracle drug or an expensive surgery. I'm talking about something that goes beyond pain, beyond the diagnosis, beyond even what many doctors explain to you in a consultation. For years, we've been taught that osteoarthritis is inevitable, that if you reach a certain age, you'll have to live with pain, that it's part of aging. But what if it weren't so? What if the real problem isn't age, but what we do or fail to do in response to it? In this video, you're not going to hear magical solutions. I'm not going to promise instant cures, but I am going to tell you the truth. A truth that is often ignored, minimized, or simply not explained well. Today we'll talk about what really causes osteoarthritis and what can actually reverse it. Not just ease it, not just delay it, but reverse it. You see, the human body has an enormous capacity to regenerate, but for that, it needs the right conditions. And those conditions don't always come in pill form. Maybe it will surprise you, maybe it will annoy you, but it may also, as has happened to many, give you hope. Because if you live with pain every day, if it's hard to get up, to walk, to move freely, you deserve to know there's more you can do. And if you're one of those who still has no symptoms, but has already heard words like wear and tear, cartilage, or inflammation, you also need to hear this before it's too late. So I invite you to stay, to listen carefully, and above all, to ask yourself one question. Am I really doing everything I can to get better, or am I just getting by with whatever they give me? Before we go on, I'd love to get to know you. How old are you, and where are you watching me from? Write it in the comments. It makes me happy to know who I'm talking to. Now then, let's begin. What is osteoarthritis really, and why do so many suffer from it? To understand how to face osteoarthritis, you first have to know exactly what it is, and above all, what it isn't. Osteoarthritis isn't simply knee pain or aches of old age. It's a chronic disease that affects the joints. Its technical name is osteoarthritis, and although many people see it as something natural with aging, that doesn't mean we should accept it without a fight. Simply put, osteoarthritis occurs when the cartilage that covers the ends of the bones wears down. That cartilage is like a soft cushion that allows the bones to glide over each other without friction. When it's damaged, the bones start to rub against each other, causing pain, stiffness, and inflammation. People often confuse osteoarthritis with arthritis, but they're not the same. Arthritis, especially rheumatoid arthritis, is an autoimmune disease. The immune system mistakenly attacks the joints. Osteoarthritis, on the other hand, is degenerative. It's not the immune system that causes it, but progressive wear, overuse, or even underuse. And now comes the interesting part. Why do so many people suffer from it? The first obvious cause is age. As the years go by, cartilage loses elasticity and its ability to recover. But it's not just a matter of birthdays. Other important factors also play a role. Genetics, being overweight, obesity, old injuries that didn't heal well, and, surprisingly, sedentary living. Yes, a sedentary lifestyle. Many people think that by stopping movement they protect their joints, but it's just the opposite. When you don't move, you don't strengthen the muscles that support those joints. And when the muscles don't support, wear accelerates. And then there's the modern lifestyle. Many hours sitting, little exercise, inflammatory diets full of sugar, and ultra-processed foods. All that generates chronic inflammation in the body. And when the body is inflamed, cartilage suffers. To illustrate this, I want to tell you Anna's story. Anna is 73 years old. She has lived alone for almost a decade, and she was always an active woman, though she didn't exercise as such. Her routine was tending her garden, cleaning her house, walking to the market. Simple things. But 5 years ago, she began to feel discomfort in her knees. A pain that at first was sporadic, then daily. Her doctor said, "That's osteoarthritis, ma'am. It's normal at your age. Take this for the pain and rest." And Anna obeyed. She stopped walking as much, started using a cane, sat for more hours. But the pain not only didn't go away, it got worse. Then came stronger painkillers, an injection, and after that, resignation. The saddest thing is that no one explained what was really happening in her body. No one told her that too much rest could worsen her osteoarthritis, that her diet, her emotional state, and her lifestyle influenced more than her age. And Anna is not the only one. Millions of people live like this, believing that osteoarthritis is an inevitable fate, when in reality, in many cases, it's the consequence of years of ignoring signals and quietly destructive habits. But here comes the good news. The body has an incredible capacity for regeneration. You just have to understand what it needs. And that's exactly what we're going to discover together. When you're told you have osteoarthritis, the first thing they give you is a prescription: acetaminophen, ibuprofen, diclofenac, some painkiller or anti-inflammatory. And of course, for a few days, it seems to work. The pain goes down, you can move a bit more, and you feel like everything's under control. But there's a big truth that almost no one tells you from the beginning. Those medications don't cure osteoarthritis. They only silence it, for a while. Imagine you have a water leak at home. The faucet drips every hour. Instead of fixing the pipe, what you do is put a cloth over it so you don't hear the dripping. That's exactly what common drugs do. They muffle the noise, but they don't solve the problem. And the worst part is that, in the meantime, joint wear continues, silently, without you feeling it, because the painkiller is doing its job. And you think you're improving, when in reality, the body is still deteriorating. Anti-inflammatories, like ibuprofen or naproxen, are useful in the short term, but if they're taken constantly for months or years, they can cause other serious problems. Damage to the stomach, liver, and kidneys. They raise blood pressure and can even affect the heart. And if not, ask Manuel. Manuel is 76 years old and worked his whole life as a carpenter. He has osteoarthritis in both hands, and the doctor prescribed ibuprofen every 8 hours to ease the pain. At first, it was a relief. He used his tools again, even did small repairs at home. But after 6 months, he began to feel discomfort when eating. Heartburn, nausea, loss of appetite. One day, he had a sharp abdominal pain and ended up in the emergency room with a gastric ulcer caused by anti-inflammatories. That's when he realized he couldn't go on like that. And he asked the big question: why do they give me something that calms the pain but harms me in another way? The answer is harsh, but simple. Conventional medicine is trained to relieve symptoms, not always to look for the origin of the problem. That doesn't mean doctors are bad. Most do the best they can with what they learned. But the system is designed to act quickly, with solutions that can be prescribed, not necessarily with time to educate the patient on how to truly heal. And this isn't just with osteoarthritis. It happens with many chronic diseases. That's why many people resign themselves. They believe they only have two paths: take medication for life or live with pain. But that's a kind lie, an incomplete view, because osteoarthritis can improve if it's addressed at its root. And the root, as we'll see later, lies in silent inflammation, in the lack of certain nutrients, in sedentary habits, and in other factors that rarely get addressed on a prescription pad. So if you're taking pills every day and feel you're not improving, it's not your fault. It's the fault of an approach that treats the body like a machine to be silenced, instead of an organism that can regain balance if it's given the right support. The good news is that you're still on time. This video isn't here to blame you. It's here to open a door, to show you what many don't explain in the doctor's office. Because maybe you can't go back, but you can begin today to walk in a different direction. The approach almost no one considers: healing from the inside. When we think of curing a disease, the first thing that comes to mind is a medication. A pill that takes effect, a cream that removes the pain, an injection that calms it. But what if the real solution didn't come from the outside, but from within? This is the point where many people start to open their eyes. It's not enough to take a pill. You have to change the body's environment. That's the basic principle of functional and regenerative medicine. A way of understanding health that doesn't try to silence symptoms, but to find out why they occur, and above all, how to turn off that origin. And do you know what the most common factor is in osteoarthritis, and in almost all chronic diseases? Inflammation. But not the kind of inflammation you can see at a glance, like a swollen ankle or a red knee. I'm talking about chronic, silent inflammation, the kind that has been building for years without you knowing. That inflammation can be caused by many things: irritating foods, accumulated stress, lack of sleep, environmental toxins, imbalanced gut bacteria, And when that inflammation persists for a long time, it damages tissues, including the joints. Imagine cartilage as a soft cushion. Inflammation is like a small flame that never goes out. Day after day, it slowly burns away that protection. And there comes a time when the body can no longer repair it. That's why healing osteoarthritis from the inside means much more than putting something on your knee. It means putting out that fire. And how do you do that? Here's where concepts come in that many people have never heard. 1. Diet. There are foods that inflame and foods that deflate inflammation. White bread, sugar, cured meats, fried foods are gasoline for the fire. In contrast, oily fish, leafy green vegetables, seeds, and extra virgin olive oil are water to put it out. 2. The gut. Yes, the gut. It's called the second brain for a reason. When the gut is damaged by stress, by drugs, by a poor diet, it becomes permeable and lets toxins pass into the bloodstream. That triggers an immune reaction that affects the whole body, including the joints. Did you know that many people with osteoarthritis also have digestive problems, mild allergies, or chronic fatigue? It's all related. The body doesn't act in separate parts. Everything is connected. 3. Oxidative stress. A term that sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's cellular wear caused by internal and external toxins. That wear produces molecules called free radicals, which damage tissues and accelerate aging, including the destruction of cartilage. And here's where the traditional approach falls short. Because no matter how many painkillers you take, if every day you keep feeding inflammation, leaky gut, and oxidative stress, all you're doing is slowing the symptom, but not stopping the cause. It's like bailing water out of a boat with a bucket while the hole in the bottom is still open. That's why when we talk about healing osteoarthritis from the inside, we're talking about a deep change. It's not a 3-day diet or a trendy supplement. It's transforming your body into a place that doesn't favor destruction, but repair. And the most inspiring thing is this: the body always wants to heal. It just needs you to stop putting obstacles in the way and start offering the right conditions. It's not easy, but it's far more powerful than any pill. And now that you understand this, you're closer than ever to giving your body what it truly needs. Food as real medicine for osteoarthritis. When someone tells you that food can heal, it sounds exaggerated, like a passing fad. But in the case of osteoarthritis, diet can be one of the most powerful tools that exist. Because what you eat every day doesn't just feed your muscles or your stomach, it also directly affects your joints. Joints aren't isolated from the rest of the body. They're alive. They are nourished, they regenerate, or they wear down, depending on what you put on your plate. And the truth is that many foods that seem harmless are sabotaging your recovery without you knowing it. First, let's talk about the nutrients that do help. Your body needs 3 key types of components to protect and regenerate your joints. 1. Omega-3. These are fatty acids with a natural anti-inflammatory effect. They're found in fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, and mackerel. Also in chia and flax seeds, and in walnuts. Consuming omega-3 regularly reduces inflammation throughout the body, including your knees, hips, and hands. 2. Collagen. It's the protein that forms cartilage. As we age, we naturally produce less collagen, but we can stimulate its production with foods like bone broth, eggs, unsweetened gelatin, fish, and meat cooked on the bone. Certain supplements with type 2 collagen also help, especially if taken along with vitamin C. 3. Antioxidants. These are substances that fight oxidative stress and protect cells from damage. You'll find them in red fruits like cherries, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. Also in vegetables like broccoli, spinach, and kale. The more color a vegetable has, the more antioxidants it usually contains. Now then, just as there are foods that help, there are others that silently destroy your joints. The most dangerous of all, sugar. Refined sugar promotes inflammation, destabilizes the immune system, and feeds harmful gut bacteria. And we're not talking only about the sugar you add to coffee, but also the sugar hidden in breads, cookies, cereals, packaged juices, and light products. Another silent enemy, ultra-processed foods. Those boxed foods full of preservatives, colorings, refined flours, and poor quality vegetable oils. Food that seems convenient but harms you on the inside. And we can't forget fried foods and reused oils. They generate toxic compounds that increase inflammation, affect the liver, and worsen the body's overall state. To understand this better, I'll tell you Teresa's story. Teresa is 72 years old and lives in a small town. She was always a fan of fresh bread, coffee with sugar, and homemade sweets. When she was diagnosed with osteoarthritis in both knees, the doctor prescribed painkillers and told her it was normal for her age. But her daughter-in-law, who is a nutritionist, made her a proposal. Drop the bread, the sugar, and processed products for just 1 month. Let's see what happens. Teresa agreed. It was hard at the beginning because she felt her daily pleasures were being taken away. But after 3 weeks, something changed. She woke up with less stiffness. She could walk more without stopping. Her mood improved. And most importantly, she understood that this wasn't about dieting, but about caring for her body from the inside. So now that you know this, where should you start? Here's a practical list of what you can incorporate today. Breakfast: oatmeal with chia seeds and blueberries, turmeric infusion. Lunch: baked fish with sweet potato, a leafy green salad, and olive oil. Snack: a handful of walnuts and a low-sugar fruit like a plum. Dinner: homemade soup with vegetables and pieces of chicken. Throughout the day, water with lemon, unsweetened infusions. Avoid sodas and packaged juices. Keep it simple. It's not about perfection, but consistency. Every meal is an opportunity to heal or to harm. And when the body starts getting what it needs, the change shows. The importance of intelligent, non-aggressive movement. One of the first recommendations many people receive when diagnosed with osteoarthritis is, rest, don't strain yourself. And while that phrase may sound logical, the truth is that, in many cases, it's one of the worst pieces of advice you can give. Stopping movement makes osteoarthritis worse. Yes, rest is necessary when there's acute inflammation or severe pain. But turning rest into a lifestyle only leads to a vicious circle. Less movement, weaker muscles, less joint stability, more pain, even less movement. The body needs movement to stay alive, and even more so, the joints. Did you know that cartilage has no blood vessels? That means it is nourished through movement. When you move a joint, the synovial fluid, a thick liquid inside the joints, gets activated, delivering oxygen and nutrients to the cartilage. That's why it's said that cartilage feeds on good movement. But not just any movement will do. It's not about lifting weights or running a marathon. It's about practicing what we could call intelligent movement. Gentle, steady, respectful of the body, and adapted to every age. Here are 3 types of exercise highly recommended for people with osteoarthritis. 1. Swimming or exercises in water. Water reduces the load your joints have to bear, letting you move without pain and with freedom. It also improves circulation, strengthens muscles, and relaxes the body. A 30-minute session in the water can work wonders. 2. Gentle stretching. Stretching the muscles, especially after sitting for a long time or upon waking, helps improve flexibility and reduce stiffness. You don't have to be an expert. Basic stretches are enough, like moving your arms in circles, leaning your torso to the sides, or gently stretching your legs over a chair. 3. Unhurried walks. Walking at the pace your body allows, even if it's only 10 minutes a day, activates circulation, oxygenates cells, and strengthens the muscles that protect your joints. What matters isn't speed, but consistency. And now, to help you get started, here's an example of a basic 10-minute routine for people with mild to moderate osteoarthritis. You can do it every morning or after a nap. Minute 1 to 2. Seated on a firm chair, extend your legs one at a time forward, keeping the knee straight. Do it slowly, 5 times per leg. Minute 3 to 4. Gently rotate your ankles in circles, first one way, then the other. Then lift and lower your heels alternately. Minute 5 to 6. Standing, supported by a table or the back of a chair, lift one knee at a time as if marching in place. Do 10 repetitions per leg. Minute 7 to 8. Tilt your torso from side to side with your hands on your waist. You don't need to bend far, just enough to feel a gentle stretch. Minute 9 to 10. Breathe deeply. Roll your shoulders in circles forward and backward. Finish by taking 3 slow steps, feeling your whole foot meet the floor. This kind of routine not only activates your muscles, it also gives you a sense of control, presence, and autonomy. Remember, you don't need to do a lot. You only need to do something every day. And if a joint hurts, don't abandon it. Move it with respect, with gentleness, with patience. Because moving is living, and cartilage is nourished by movement, the good kind. The mind's role, pain, brain, and emotions. When we talk about osteoarthritis, we almost always think of bones, cartilage, inflammation. But we rarely talk about something just as important, the mind. And no, this isn't an abstract or esoteric idea, it's science. It's been shown that chronic pain, like that of osteoarthritis, changes how your nervous system functions. Let me explain it simply. Your brain doesn't just feel pain, it also interprets it. When you live with pain every day, your brain begins to adapt to that constant signal. Over time, it becomes more sensitive, more reactive, more alert, even if the physical damage hasn't worsened. It's as if the pain volume gets stuck on high, even though the real problem is no longer so severe. This is called central sensitization, and many older adults suffer from it without knowing. It's no longer just the joint that hurts. It's the entire nervous system that's on high alert. And this worsens when there's accumulated stress, anxiety, or sadness. Has it happened to you that on days when you're more worried, lonelier, or more tired, the pain seems to multiply? That's no coincidence. It's the body-mind connection. Chronic stress generates hormones like cortisol that inflame the body. Anxiety tightens muscles and reduces mobility. And depression douses the desire to take care of yourself, to move, to seek solutions. All this becomes a kind of heavy fog that not only affects your mood, but also feeds physical pain. And here's a big truth that very few tell you. Not everything is physical. Your mind can help you or hold you back. That's why many modern treatments for osteoarthritis are already including the emotional and mental approach. And we're not talking about major therapies or complicated things. Sometimes small daily habits can make a huge difference. Here are 3 simple tools you can use starting today. 1. Conscious breathing. As simple as sitting down, closing your eyes, and breathing deeply. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold your breath for 2 seconds. Then exhale through your mouth, counting to 6. Do this for 5 minutes, once or twice a day. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps calm the body, reduce muscle tension, and lower inflammation. 2. Guided meditation. You don't need to be an expert. You can find free audios online where a soft voice guides you through a visualization. At first, it's hard to concentrate, but over time, your mind learns to enter a state of calm. 5 to 10 minutes a day can help reduce the perception of pain. 3. Positive visualization. Close your eyes and imagine your body healing. Visualize your joints surrounded by light, the cartilage regenerating, the pain dissolving like smoke in the wind. It may seem simple, but it's proven that the brain responds to mental images as if they were real, and this can activate internal recovery processes. And do you know what's most beautiful about all this? You don't need money. You don't need special equipment. You only need to give yourself permission to care for your mind too, to calm down, to believe your body can change, to understand that you are not your pain. You are much more than that. It's not about denying what you feel. It's about learning to live with it, without letting it dominate you. And when your mind aligns with your body, a new path opens, lighter, more yours. Supplements that do work and which to avoid. We live in an age where there are pills for everything. And when it comes to osteoarthritis, supplements promise wonders. Regenerate your cartilage in 30 days. Cure your knee pain forever. Immediate effect with no effort. But the truth, as almost always, is more balanced. Some supplements do work, others do nothing, and a few can do more harm than good. So today we're going to see which ones are truly worthwhile, how to take them, and which are best avoided. Let's start with those that do have scientific backing and frequent use by physical therapists and nutritionists. 1. Glucosamine. This supplement is one of the most studied for osteoarthritis. Glucosamine helps maintain and repair cartilage. It doesn't act immediately, but over time it can reduce pain and improve joint function. Ideally, take it for at least 3 continuous months to notice benefits. And it should always be in its purest form, glucosamine sulfate. 2. Chondroitin. It often comes combined with glucosamine, and together they make a good team. Chondroitin helps maintain cartilage elasticity and reduce joint degradation. Several studies have shown it can be as effective as certain painkillers, but without their side effects. 3. Turmeric. This golden root is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories out there. Its active ingredient, curcumin, helps reduce pain and inflammation gently but effectively. For good absorption, it should be paired with black pepper or liposomal extracts. Taking it with meals helps even more. 4. Type 2 collagen. This specific type of collagen is the one found in joint cartilage. Unlike type 1 collagen, which goes to skin or tendons, type 2 has a direct effect on joints. It's recommended to take it on an empty stomach once a day, preferably with vitamin C, which improves absorption. After about 90 days of continuous use, many people report less stiffness and more mobility. 5. Magnesium. This mineral is involved in more than 300 functions in the body. It helps relax muscles, reduce cramps, and improve sleep quality. And since chronic pain generates a lot of tension, magnesium can be a great ally. It's best taken at night and in forms like magnesium bisglycinate or citrate, which are easier to digest. Now let's be clear, not all supplements work, and not all are safe. There are products sold with empty promises. Miracle formulas that combine 20 ingredients in a single capsule with no backing, no studies, and no real results. Be wary of phrases like, repair your joints in 7 days, definitive cure without exercise or diet, secret product doctors don't want you to know about. Also avoid supplements with artificial ingredients, colorings, added sugar, or names you can't pronounce. Your body doesn't need more chemicals. It needs real, gentle, steady support. And very importantly, always consult a health professional before taking any supplement, especially if you're already on medication or have other medical conditions. Many physical therapists and nutritionists today are using integrative protocols. It's not just about giving a pill, but about combining specific supplementation, gentle movement, an anti-inflammatory diet, and emotional work. Because as we've said, the body doesn't heal in parts, it heals as a whole. So if you decide to take supplements, do it consciously, not as a magic pill, but as an ally in your process. Give them time, be consistent, and pair them with good habits. Change doesn't come in a bottle. It comes when you decide you deserve to feel better. Natural therapies with scientific support. When medications no longer help enough, and when surgeries aren't a desired option, many people ask, is there anything else I can do for my osteoarthritis? The answer is yes. There are several natural therapies with scientific support that have been shown to relieve pain, reduce inflammation, and improve joint mobility. They're not miraculous, and they don't work the same for everyone. But when combined with good habits, they can make a real difference. Let's look at some of the most effective. 1. Acupuncture. This ancient Chinese technique involves inserting very fine needles at specific points on the body. What it does isn't magic, as some believe. It activates the nervous system, releases endorphins, your natural painkillers, and improves circulation in inflamed areas. Several studies have confirmed that acupuncture can significantly reduce joint pain, especially in knees and hips. Ideally, see a certified acupuncturist who works in integrative centers. 2. Ozone therapy. This is a lesser-known therapy, but with surprising results. It consists of applying a mixture of oxygen and ozone to the affected area, either by injection or insufflation. Ozone acts as an anti-inflammatory, improves tissue oxygenation, and stimulates cellular repair. In many cases, results are felt after 3 or 4 sessions. In fact, let me tell you George's story. George is 74 years old and had been dealing with osteoarthritis in both knees for more than 5 years. He tried everything, painkillers, physical therapy, supplements, but his mobility kept decreasing. A friend told him about ozone therapy. At first he hesitated. He didn't know anyone who had tried it, but he decided to give it a shot. After the 3rd session, he noticed he could go downstairs with less pain. After the 5th, he went back to walking in the park without needing a cane. Today, he says it wasn't a magic cure, but it was the spark his body needed to switch on again. 3. Cold laser therapy. This kind of laser doesn't heat or damage the skin. What it does is stimulate energy production in cells, reduce inflammation, and accelerate the recovery of damaged tissues. It has been successfully used in physical therapy centers to treat tendinitis, bursitis, and of course, osteoarthritis. It's a painless, safe technique with no side effects. 4. Hydrotherapy. The therapeutic use of water, whether in heated pools, contrast baths, or directed showers, has been one of the oldest and most effective tools for treating joint pain. Water relieves the load on the joints, lets you move freely, and stimulates circulation. And it also has a relaxing effect, ideal for calming both body and mind. Now then, how do you know if an alternative therapy is safe and useful for you? Here are some important recommendations. Always consult your primary care doctor before starting any treatment. Even if it's natural, it can have interactions or contraindications. Choose certified professionals. It's not enough for someone to have a sign that says ozone therapy or acupuncture. They must have specific training and be endorsed by a professional association or recognized health entity. Be wary of exaggerated promises. If someone tells you they can cure you completely in 3 sessions, leave. Good therapy never promises miracles. It promises accompaniment. Track how you feel. Keep a small journal. Note whether pain went down, whether you sleep better, whether you walk more easily. Sometimes the changes are subtle but steady. Remember, these therapies don't replace a healthy life. They're complements, supports. They don't substitute gentle exercise, good nutrition, rest, or emotional care. The good news is that many people find in these therapies a new hope, a new starting point, a small relief that, added to other changes, transforms their life. Because sometimes what seemed impossible just needed a different approach. Joint regeneration. Is it possible? For many years, the idea was clear. Cartilage doesn't regenerate. And with that phrase, millions of people received an osteoarthritis diagnosis as if it were a sentence. But science moves forward, and today we're not just talking about relieving pain. Today we're starting to talk, with prudence but with hope, about rebuilding what was lost. Yes, you heard that right. Regeneration. Thanks to new medical techniques, we now know that, under certain conditions, the body can form joint tissue again. Not like when you were 20, true, but enough to regain mobility, reduce pain, and improve quality of life. Let's see what these techniques are. 1. Platelet-rich plasma, PRP. This technique involves drawing a small amount of your own blood, processing it to concentrate the platelets, which contain growth factors, and then injecting it into the damaged joint. The goal is to stimulate natural tissue regeneration. Platelets act as messengers telling the body, repair is needed here. Several studies have shown that PRP can reduce pain and improve joint function in people with mild to moderate osteoarthritis. What's interesting is that it isn't an external drug. It's your own body helping itself. 2. Stem cell therapy. This is a more advanced and also more expensive field. Stem cells can become different types of cells. In this case, they can help rebuild cartilage, reduce inflammation, and improve joint structure. They're generally obtained from adipose tissue, belly fat for example, or bone marrow, and then re-injected into the damaged joint. Although studies are still evolving, the results are promising, especially in people between 60 and 70 years old with non-severe osteoarthritis. It's not a magic technique, but it can halt deterioration and, in some cases, reverse part of the damage. 3. Prolotherapy, a lesser-known but interesting option. It consists of injecting a mild irritant solution, usually dextrose, into the ligaments or tendons near the joint. What for? To create a small alarm in the body that activates the healing response. This can reinforce the tissues that support the joint, reduce instability, and thus ease pain. Although it doesn't regenerate cartilage directly, it helps restore structural balance, which is essential to protect what remains of the joint. And now you may be wondering, does this really work in real life? The answer is yes, but with nuances. There are documented cases of people who, after 2 or 3 PRP sessions, went back to walking without pain. People who postponed a prosthesis surgery thanks to stem cells. And people who, with prolotherapy, went from living with a cane to climbing stairs unaided. But we also have to tell the truth. It doesn't work the same for everyone. Age, level of damage, overall health, lifestyle. Everything influences. And these therapies aren't accessible to everyone, at least for now, since in many countries they're still considered private or experimental. Even so, the message is clear. We're no longer limited to calming. We're beginning to rebuild. That's the new horizon in osteoarthritis treatment. An approach that doesn't settle for putting out the fire, but wants to replant the forest. And although there's still no definitive cure, there are real opportunities for improvement. More mobility, less pain, more life. So if you're facing osteoarthritis, don't resign yourself. The future of your joint health isn't written. Common mistakes that sabotage recovery. There are invisible habits that slow your recovery without you realizing it. These silent mistakes sabotage all your effort. 1. Sleeping poorly. Sleep is repair. While you sleep, your body regulates inflammation, repairs tissues, and balances hormones. Without good sleep, your body can't heal. Poor sleep makes pain worse, lowers stress tolerance, and affects your mood. Everything else, supplements, exercise, diet, loses effectiveness. 2. Drinking too little water. Many older adults don't drink enough fluids. Without water, joints don't stay lubricated. Cartilage, tendons, and discs need hydration. Drink 6 to 8 glasses daily, one when you wake up, with each meal before bed. 3. Thinking pain is normal because of age. A dangerous mistake. Many assume chronic pain, stiffness, and inflammation are part of aging and stop seeking solutions. Accepting pain means understanding it and seeking to improve it. Resignation is giving up. Your age doesn't define your capacity to heal. 4. Not asking for help. Suffering in silence out of pride or fear isn't strength. Asking for help is responsibility toward yourself. There are professionals and therapies available. An honest conversation can be the first step. 5. Trying many things without consistency. Jumping from remedy to remedy without giving time for them to work. The body needs time. Better to do a few things well and keep at them. Patience, consistency, confidence. Complete step-by-step strategy. Diet. Eat natural. Green vegetables, fatty fish, turmeric, red fruits. Reduce sugar, white bread, fried foods, ultra-processed products. Movement, walk 10 minutes daily. Gentle stretching or yoga for older adults. Move even if you don't feel like it. Supplements. Type 2 collagen, turmeric, magnesium. Take them daily for at least 3 months. Mind 5 minutes of conscious breathing daily. Be grateful for what you can do. Visualize your body healthy. Rest. Turn off screens 1 hour before sleep. Create a calm routine. Tea, reading, prayer. 7-day plan. Day 1. Cut sugar from breakfast. Add a glass of water upon waking. Walk 10 minutes. Day 2. Swap white bread for fruit. Try a natural supplement. Breathe deeply for 5 minutes. Day 3. Gentle stretching upon waking. Eat dinner early. Nighttime magnesium. Day 4. Avoid negative news. Find something that makes you laugh. Call someone. Day 5. Add turmeric to a meal. Rest the painful leg with a pillow. Give thanks for something positive. Day 6. Look at old photos. Remember your strength. Do an act of kindness. Day 7. Evaluate improvements. If something improved, keep doing it. Don't change your whole life in a week. Make one change with awareness, love, and faith. Your body wants to heal. It's just waiting for you to allow it. Final message. Pain can be part of the journey, but not the destination. The body can repair and strengthen itself even when many consider it too late. It isn't irreversible, but it requires action and commitment to your body, rest, mind, diet, and attitude. You don't need to be perfect, just start. We all deserve to live with dignity, without pain, and with hope. Thank you for listening to yourself and believing in yourself.